welcome to bonus topic number 9, B009. And today's topic I am titling Conscious Healing. And by healing, I mean our day-to-day healing process that we normally conduct. And it's in a range where most of the healing we do, we don't go to a doctor for. When we need the assistance for a medical practitioner, we do need to get one. So this isn't about not getting proper medical consultation. But the bottom line is that when it comes to healing, even the most recognized and renowned medical practitioners will say that it's the individual themselves that does the healing. So this is meant to be an adjunct or something that goes along with your process of healing, whatever it is you need to heal. So I'm assuming that if you need any particular specialized help, you will get it, but understanding that there's a level of responsibility that you yourself have to take. So that's the conscious healing idea. So when we look at it, there are some aspects that I think are important. And there's something that I'd like to share with you that I call conscious healing or conscious awareness. And it involves something that's called entropy. And we're going to talk about entropy, which is a recognized phenomenon that happens in our reality to all matter. It goes through this thing called entropy. We'll talk about that. Then within our particular reality, each individual has a subconscious system that sets up a series of rewards or punishments to help you stay focused and to move on. And these rewards or punishment, if not heeded, have no effect. But it's only when you listen to your subconscious, when it's giving you the indicators, the rewards are telling you the directions to move towards, and the punishment are telling you the things to move away from. And this is all trying to take you to something called the creative force. And it's this creative force that originally created you from a single cell and to a multi-cell organized individual that is with us today. So this creative force is the ultimate force. So if you are in line with that creative force, then if healing is going to take place, it will take place because of this healing force, regardless of what external forces you apply on the individual. If the creative force doesn't have the freedom or the will to be there, then healing will not take place. So cultivating this creative force is important. And the way to do that is through the feedback loop, by being conscious and working with the feedback loop. And then finally, I'll end it with a little discussion about the rules of the road. Okay, so let's dive into it. So entropy is a phenomenon where everything in our reality, all matter, all energy, all forces tend to do the same thing. They tend to move from the hot to the cold. So if something is hot, it will tend to move towards cold. And the important thing here is, if you look at this match burning, that it will eventually extinguish itself and become cold. It will release all of its energy. But you can't do the reverse. Once the match has been lit and released its energy to the environment, it can't then go backwards and reconstruct itself. So entropy tends to be in one direction. And this is a bit of a puzzle. And this was looked at quite seriously for many, many, many years. Philosophers and scientists debated how life could exist if everything, in a sense, is going in one direction. Everything is extinguishing itself, that all hot energy will eventually become cold, that things are expanding and will eventually reach some kind of end. But this doesn't appear to happen. Why do we continually have new life when everything, by definition of entropy, is expanding? You can look at it another way. If you look at these two images here, the one on the top is showing you two different types of matter. Okay, they're in a container, and the likelihood that the matter would organize itself such that all the similar particles would be together, separated, is not really the way things are in nature. The spontaneous way things are in nature are on the right, where things would be spread out and dispersed. So the classical experiment is where you put one drop of a dye color in water, and eventually that color, whatever it is, red, blue, will mingle with the clear water, and eventually you will not be able to see it. So the tendency in nature is for things to disperse and to become what is sometimes called disordered random, as opposed to an organized. When you look at the figure in the bottom of this thing, if an individual throwing bricks, what's the likelihood that the bricks would pile up by themselves and form a wall? It's more likely that they would end up in a pile of disorganized bricks. This is the example of putting a bunch of scrap metal in a jungle and coming back a few years later, and there'd be a locomotive or a brand new car assembled. Things do not assemble themselves naturally. They tend to be random, like the bricks falling in a random pile. So why is it that in life things heal? Why don't things just continually go into a disordered fashion and dissolve? So another example of this is that everything ages. So if you buy a new car, it's not new. The moment you get into it, it's not new for long. The moment you get into it and drive it, it's not long before that new feel, that new smell starts to go away, and the car begins to age. A few years later, the car starts to show its age, and then at some point in the future, the car no longer functions the way that you like, and you sell it and get a new one. So this entropy is happening to everything. You might say that illness is a form of entropy, that the body becomes unorganized, that it's no longer able to function the way it can. Well, the thing is that entropy is the reason things organize. It's because you are having a problem that makes you correct. So your subconscious has a system of rewards, the carrot, or punishment, the fork, to make you become aware of things. So you might notice that if you have an injury, that you become super aware of it. If you have even the slightest little cut on your foot, you notice it, you become aware of it. So your subconscious is saying, pay attention. So when you begin to focus on something, you will immediately begin to repair it. The worst kinds of diseases that you can have are the ones that have no symptoms or that you are not aware of, right? So they say those silent killers, right? So you need to become aware to heal. So the premise is that your subconscious will give you rewards and punishments to move you to heal. This is something we do naturally. So you might say the punishment might be the pain that you feel or the discomfort you feel when you're not well. And the carrot is the memory of what it felt like to be able to move freely and not have that pain in the foot or whatever it is. Okay, that draws your attention. But it goes deeper than that. because this creative force is extremely powerful. This creative force created you from a single cell. And when this creative force is focused, and I think I mentioned in the previous introduction to meditation course about left brain and right brain balance, when the focus is there, and you can use meditation for this, when you focus, then this creative energy starts to act. If it's unfocused, then the creative energy doesn't act. So this little daisy was able to break through the asphalt, right? Because the force of this focused plant is extremely powerful. So how does this work? So it works by a feedback loop. And you should be familiar with this graph by now. So you have something that's important. In this example, we're talking about something that needs to be healed or repaired. Then you automatically, subconsciously start generating ways of achieving that healing. Your body does it automatically. But it's more effective if you are focusing on the outcomes of what you're doing. So as you focus on the condition and you become more aware and you focus on the outcome, and this all happens more or less subconsciously. So you're not necessarily aware of it all happening at all levels. But your subconscious begins to see if it's working or not and makes adjustments. And a lot of this happens in the medulla oblongata in the midbrain that regulates your whole metabolism and keeps you in homeostasis. Now, if you are not paying attention, if you are not focused, then the body can get out of alignment. I remember days when I was working on projects, and I would be so focused on completing the project that I would actually be hurting myself, and I would actually be exhausted. And when I finished the project and went, I was really tired, and in fact, I had pain. I had actually injured by working so hard on the project. However, by staying focused, you become aware of the alignment and balance of the body. I have a process called 3-body centering, which I'll share with you later on. But it's just at this point, just be aware that being focused, being conscious, you will automatically begin to heal. And this is the way it works. If you're in a car and you're on an icy road and you have to make these various curves and turns on an icy road, where is it you put your attention? Where do you focus? And there's a basic rule of driving on slippery conditions. There's a basic rule about where you put your attention. Well, you may know it, or you may recognize it by now, is that you focus on the white line. You focus on the center of the road, regardless whatever the car is doing. Doesn't matter what the car is doing, you keep your focus there. And the reason is that you will tend to steer the car where you are looking. So in this example here in the picture, you don't steer at the guardrail. And if the car begins to sway and begins to show signs of skidding, you don't look at the ditch and the guardrail, or you don't look at the other side where there's that little bit of mountain. You steer right at the center of the road. You steer where you want to go. You look towards, you focus on the health that you want to achieve. So this is just a little discussion about conscious healing, and I hope that gives you something to think about, that if you focus, the tendency for your subconscious is to always improve, to always heal. That is the tendency. That's the direction you will always go if you focus. And it's only when you lose focus that things begin to become a problem. Some people say that the process of acupuncture really is just to put needles in a place just to make your subconscious become aware of where you need to send in energy. In any event, I hope you found that interesting, and we will see you in the next session.